Welcome back to the show, everybody. Today's a little bit different. We're in a different recording area. We're up in the mountainous range of Utah outdoors in the moment, so you're going to be able to hear, some good background noise. That static, I want to believe, is water. I can see it over there in the distance. I'm hoping it is. But today we want to go into depth about the essentially being. Right, Thomas?
Sure. Whatever being is.
Well, whatever being is, yeah. So we all exist on this planet. We all know that. But we're humans. We like to find meaning behind things.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's the root of everything. We try to find meaning behind everything we do. So
That's a good place to open. There's this idea that I personally believe to be true, that meaning precedes an object.
Oh.
Yeah, so if you have a cup, the meaning of a cup, the essence of a cup is to hold water. So if it doesn't have that essence, if it doesn't hold water,
No
it's
cups.
not a cup.
No cups, guys.
The essence of being is the meaning of life. If a cup's whole life is to hold water, that's the cup's meaning of life. That's the meaning of the cup's life, even though the cups aren't alive.
Right. So in the cups world, the purpose is to hold liquids.
Yeah.
So what's the purpose of humans?
Also to hold liquids, I
Also
hope.
to hold liquids.
Because if you're
But
not
I mean-
holding liquids, you're going to be in a little bit of trouble.
Yeah, that's true. But I mean, our purpose.
Our grand purpose.
Our grand purpose. What we're meant to achieve.
Yeah.
What we're meant to accomplish. Where we're supposed to go. And so in order to achieve all of those, we have to have an underlying belief system, right? Our mindset. Our approach to what we think the world is to us.
Yeah, we have to, well, there has to be meaning somewhere. And these three philosophies we have are confronting where the meaning comes from, if there is meaning, how to get meaning, all that stuff.
It's a complex idea. So let's get into it.
Yes, let's.
Well, we know that a very common one is nihilism, right?
Yeah.
And nihilism, it's looked down upon,
Well,
I would say.
hold on.
Depending where you come from. Well,
Is it common?
I would say modern, yes. Modern society, yes. I feel like more people are nihilists than ever. Because I feel like we've lost our sense of purpose.
Yeah. There's a lot of mindless everything. So the underlying meaning is just none. There's no meaning.
Exactly. So if there is no meaning, you're a nihilist.
Alright.
And that's, well, if you have no meaning, I'm going to attack it right now. If you're a nihilist, listen up. If you don't have any reason for being here, okay, this actually kind of sounds messed up. If you have no reason for being here, then why are you here?
Yeah.
There's no reason for you to be here. But I'm not going to be like, oh, kill yourself. No. Because the thing is, it sounds cheesy, but you can contribute.
Yeah.
You can do shit. You can do things, and a lot of people don't believe they can. They can. They have the ability to. So, most generic advice, but it works so well, and people don't consider it. Change your mindset.
Yeah, a wise man once said, "This is life. You're all in. This is going to kill you. So why not play the most magnificent game you can?"
And that's how you get yourself out of the nihilism
Yes.
spectrum. The part of nihilism. It's a dark place. I've never been there. I will never be there. I don't want to be there ever. So I
Yeah.
always got to find meaning. So if you want to find meaning, that's the very beginning of your journey to a greater tomorrow.
Yeah.
You find meaning. So then, in order to find meaning, there's different ways of approaching it. One of them is existentialism,
That basically is just searching for meaning.
which is the search of meaning.
In a nutshell.
And
So, nihilism, there is no meaning. You can't make meaning. Life has no inherent meaning. It's all meaningless. There's nothing.
but existentialism,
It's different.
how so?
It's more, life has no inherent meaning, but you can make meaning. It's kind of it's a hard word to describe existentialism because it's been used broadly throughout the ages. Because some people would consider religious people existentialists
Right.
because they might not think that life has no inherent meaning, but they do try to search for meaning through a leap of faith in their own religion.
Right.
So, I guess technically they do believe that life has no inherent meaning without that leap of faith. Because if they weren't part of the religion and weren't able to do that, then I'll bet that they think that life would be meaningless.
You know what? That might go back to nihilism. Remember how we talked about how it seems like it's bigger than it has been?
Yeah.
Like it's expanded, we've lost purpose.
Mm-hmm.
This is, I don't know if this is entirely backed, but I feel like if I say this, it sounds correct. I feel like there's people have gone away from religion as time goes on. And that's almost how it's almost always been like that.
Yeah,
The newer generations kind of obviously rebel.
I mean, think about the Puritans and the Crusades. Like,
Yeah.
they were kind of forced into religion a lot of the times.
Yeah.
So now we can go our separate ways.
We can go our separate ways, we can do our own things. But the thing is, and this is an interesting idea, I feel like there's some people who don't have a religion and they almost should.
Mm.
I say this
they're
because
nihilists?
yeah. I'd say this because they need to give themselves some sort of meaning, because if you don't have any purpose, you won't do anything.
Mm-hmm.
So you can't live a life of fulfillment.
Well, at that point, the mindset is life. There's no meaning in life. There's no meaning in death. I'll just sit here and rot. And at that point, you might do you want to rot? You can be completely dead, but you can't. There's no limit to how happy you can be. At least become a drug addict. That's better than rotting in your room. I don't know. Don't
Guys,
quote
if
me
you're a
on that one.
nihilist, become a drug addict. Thomas's wisdom.
No, I didn't mean it.
So if you want to find meaning, which we've already established is how you're going to live a fulfilling life. Thank you, Thomas. Where you're going to be able to get what you want. I mean, you're going to have to suffer, but you're going to get what you want, right? It's going to be worth it in the end all the way. And everyone who has found meaning, gives themselves meaning, when they go and accomplish it, they are always happy with it. I can say that as a guarantee. I would say that as an absolute almost. Because if you're reaching for your goals and you're not happy, it's probably because you haven't gone far enough.
Yeah.
Or your goals are wrong. You have not wrong, but your goals maybe don't help you. If your goals are, I want to be better than this person, you're never going to be happy.
Well, and I don't think you should exactly pursue happiness. I don't think that should be the final goal in life.
Yeah, it should.
It should be trying to justify your suffering in the end. Because life is suffering, and you want to, play the most magnificent game you can. Maybe you could go become some kind of hero. And it is pretty funny how little encouragement it takes to get someone to get on their feet and start going. You could actually do whatever you want. People say, oh, I'm not good enough for this, and try to be realistic. No, once you say that, now you can't do that. It's the only limit is your own limits that you just set. That's it. There's nothing else in your way.
Right.
The leading, what am I looking for? The leading variable for success in schools is conscientiousness. That's working hard. The second is being smart, cognitive ability. So if you can work hard, you can do better than a smart person.
If the smart person doesn't work, you win every time.
And I don't want to say that's all it takes, because it's going to take a lot to be everyone's natural advantages. But you could do it. It's completely possible. In fact, when you do it, I said a funny word. When you do it, it's going to feel even better because you did it with disadvantage.
Exactly. And there you have, I guess you could say, existentialism.
Yeah,
you have the purpose. You have your goal, you have your mission, you're going to go, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do whatever it takes. And that is your life. You dedicate it. Every single second in the back of your mind, you have it in there. So you're always motivated. You won't have a lack of motivation if you are very, very attentive to your goal. And it's like, this is matter. This is not my number one priority. This is the biggest thing. Yeah, it sounds hard. It is hard. You will find enjoyment in it, though. The goal is not to find enjoyment, though. But you'll find enjoyment in it, and it'll be way better than being a nihilist, I'll tell you that.
I take it you're an existentialist?
I could say so. I would consider myself an existentialist in that sense.
Oh, I do have to mention, I don't exactly like putting myself in groups, because with political groups specifically, there's a lot of, you're in a group with radicals if you put yourself in a group.
Yeah, and that's the thing
Even
about...
if you're not a radical.
Because I also don't consider myself a complete existentialist.
Ah, okay.
So yeah, radicals
in
are
some
not
sense.
exactly my biggest thing either, in almost any category, so
Yeah.
that's good that you established that. But I would consider myself that because I'm extremely goal-oriented. So everything in my life comes under my goals. So I have my missions in life that are, like, it is my lifetime journey. And everything else comes with it. Like, my goals are to also have those things. But I have my big striving thing. It's like, I want to achieve this. And I don't really tell people what that is, especially, because if I tell people, I feel like it's more likely that it won't happen. So
Yeah.
I'm not going to talk the talk, I'm going to walk the walk. I'm going to show them what I'm made of, right? So I'm going to accomplish it. I'm going to go out there and do it, and 5 years from now, you're going to see what I'm talking about. 10 years from now, you're going to see what I'm talking about.
And I think the show 'em what I'm made of is a little bit absurdism. Absurdism is the third philosophy. And I kind of...
Which is why we're not extreme radicals, but let's go with absurdism here.
Yeah. I can't say that I completely understand this one. But I've heard the story of Sisyphus as an example of absurdism. Absurdists say there's no meaning to life, and you can't get meaning to life. But Sisyphus still just pushes the rock up the hill for the rest of eternity in the underworld. Well, because he wants to stick it to the man. He wants to show him what he's
You were
made
telling
of.
a story, yeah. Sorry, the transition didn't make sense in my mind, but I get what you're saying.
Yeah. So, it is pretty much sticking it to the man. It's like, I'm gonna live life void of meaning, taking on this suffering on, and just bearing my cross. I'm gonna stare into the eyes of the devil with a smile, and break his soul, not mine.
It's basically just become a badass. That's your philosophy.
Absolutely. I like absurdism, really.
Which is pretty good.
It's a good, like, that philosophy is good for working out, too. Because, it's
Well, you
good.
push yourself past the brink of limitation.
Yes.
Past. So you go the 110%, not just the 100%.
I've seen this with cross-country a little bit. Once you get past what you believe were capable of, it's like a second runner's high. It's like another second wind. You're like, oh yeah, let's go. And you go another 5 miles. It's
Wow.
great.
You go another 5.
I mean, there's some days where I just get up and go running just because, and I run really far. Just because I
You
feel
do
like
that?
it.
I don't think you've actually told me about this. When do you do your runs and how far do you go, man?
Well, it's all over the place. I'm a scatterbrain. I'm chaotic. So sometimes it's in the morning. Sometimes it's all over the place. I also skate a lot. One day I skated 12 miles just because I felt like it. I told you about that one.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm pretty chaotic. But it does work like that. You get a second win once you pass your limit, your so-called limit. And that's why 110% is possible to some degree. Because, I mean, in objective reality, no, it's not possible. But according to your own mental limits, yeah, definitely possible.
Yeah.
In fact, it's almost easy to pass it once you know you can pass it.
But existentialism and absurdism seem like they can almost work hand in hand.
Yes.
Because if you're just one or the other, you're almost lacking something.
So can existential nihilism.
Existential nihilism?
Yes.
Okay, well now we gotta go into that. Because
That's the thing. Existential nihilism. It's like nihilism, but it's more. Existentialism came first, and it went into nihilism. Alright.
with existential nihilism, though, you said the existentialism was previously there, and the nihilism came first. So,
Well, actually, other way around.
nihilism was there first. Existentialism decided to.
You said the same thing twice.
Goodness, no.
So you have the existentialism there first. You explore things, and you realize, hey, this has no meaning. And then you got the nihilism part, but you're still searching for meaning. So you got existential nihilism, and when you're in that mindset, no matter how far you search, you can't find meaning.
So it's like you're in a dark loop.
Yeah, and that might have been me last summer, possibly, but all the existentialism, it worked.
Well, would it be that they couldn't find meaning because they wouldn't commit to something that they found appealing?
It is true that they're using a bad strategy if they're not finding meaning. So commitment might be that strategy that is necessary to find meaning. There is also, I found a study. I can't remember the study, but it was searching for the meaning of life, and it had 3 main meanings. It was basically a hedonistic meaning, which was just life has inherent value. Live a life worth living. Go have fun. You live for the good stuff. That's the first meaning. The second meaning is you make goals, you follow them, you get them. Existentialism. That's the second meaning. The third meaning, oh shoot, I can't remember the third meaning. Maybe it was like there's divine goals that you have to follow. So religion. But no, the third meaning is to understand life. It's understanding. So you live a life that's good, follow your goals, understand everything.
And that's the 3 aspects
Yeah.
to living.
So you can kind of connect these to temperaments too. Hedonists, feelers, they want to live a life worth living. They want to be happy.
The feelers
are sensitive to emotion, I believe.
Yeah.
Then you have the people who follow their goals, judgers. And then you have people who want to learn everything, which I think intuitive thinkers would be more like that. But
Yeah.
I'm not quite sure because I might have a bias against censors.
That's a good point. If you don't know what we're talking about, Myers-Briggs type indicator, personality types, they predict how people perceive things. So the feeling and thinking aspects. If you want to learn about those, we talk about them in the first 2 episodes of our podcast. Go take a look at those. Now, you said you had a bias against censors.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I really like intuitives. I feel like censors are too close-minded. But it works really well because they're structured, so...
That's like 8 floors below us. How does that pick up?
It's because our mic volume is all the way up.
That is literally 8 floors below us.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could see the intuitives wanting to search more for the meaning of life.
Yeah.
And relating that to existentialism and absurdism. Would intuitives be more likely to be existentialists in that case?
Well, I think so. According to Kierkegaard, I think, because he has the ideas such as leap of faith. I can't remember the rest. I should have read about him before this. But Kierkegaard was an intuitive, he had the leap of faith, and in order to commit to a leap of faith, you kind of have to know what you're committing to. And to know that, you're going to have to look. Intuitives like looking. And sensors, they like less abstract ideas and just straightforward simplicity. Anyway,
the 3 aspects of life. You found this useful?
I haven't exactly applied them to anything, but I felt like the third meaning, where you're trying to understand everything, I like that one, because it seems like an almost impossible task, but that makes it perfect, because it seems possible, practically impossible, but possible.
And if you have an almost impossible goal, an impossible task that you need to fulfill, yeah, so you will have purpose and fulfillment for your whole life. You will be living the dream for your whole life. Here's a good saying, and take this out of the video, guys. Take this out of the episode. If you're living to your goal, if you're every day striving for achieving your goals, your master plan in life, you are living the dream. You have already achieved a wealth that is priceless. So you will live a fulfilled life. You will live a fulfilling life.
There was another idea. I can't remember which Greek philosopher. It could have been Socrates. I think it was Socrates, who always listened to the daemon in his mind. It was almost like his intuition. And when everyone got mad at him for telling his philosophies, they said they were going to kill him. And they actually didn't want to kill him. They just wanted to run him out of the town. So he was about to go run out the town. What happened was the daemon said, "No, stay." And I listened to someone else talk about this, and they said that maybe a fulfilling life, can exhaust itself to the point where living isn't as good as just leaving it there. And I'm not saying like if you have a fulfilling life you're going to want to commit suicide. No. It's just he didn't want to run. It would be better for him to go down as courageous and stood for his beliefs and died for his beliefs than run away and kept sharing them. Because he did have a good life. He shared what he believed. And it got recorded because we know what it is now. So maybe a fulfilling life exhausts itself.
A fulfilling life exhausts oneself?
Itself. The life exhausts itself.
The life exhausts itself. Would it exhaust you, or would it give you energy?
I think once everything's said and done, and once you're on we haven't talked about Erickson's stages yet, but once you're on the 8th stage and you're reflecting, and you're like, whoa, I had a good life. At that point, you're kind of
mellowing out.
Integrity instead of despair.
Because, yeah, well, that is if you are living a life where you believe you've already achieved your purpose. If you have, say, multiple purposes, and throughout your life you continuously achieve more and more of those, you'll eventually start to mellow down more. But if you have one that you strive for, even till death, you'll always find some source of energy and motivation. Because you'll always have that thing that you have left to do. And if you have that, that means you got something going for you. That means that you need to try, and you need to work. You need to put some effort in. And if you have something to get, it motivates you. You got something to achieve still. You got something to look forward to. You get motivated. You get pumped. So maybe even at the end of the road, at the end of your life, you still can have something going for you, and you can still find a source of motivation and energy to do more. even when a lot of people can't think they can do stuff. And if you found this episode helpful, give us a like, subscribe, share this with someone if they might want to hear some of this. And with that, that concludes our episode today. Have a great night, everybody.
And remember, there's always another perspective.
Okay, what's with the dog, though, at the end? Gosh.